The first light of dawn stretched across a quiet little town. A place that seemed untouched by sorrow or cruelty. On the surface, it was calm, ordinary, almost peaceful. Yet behind that stillness, a storm of human pride and heartbreak was about to erupt. It was a warm Saturday morning. White roses lined the steps of a grand hotel, their petals glowing under the golden sun. Outside, a sleek black limousine waited, its polished surface reflecting the excitement of the day. Guests gathered in elegant suits and sparkling gowns, expecting joy, laughter, and new beginnings. But this wedding was unlike any other. Hidden beneath the glimmer of celebration was a darker intention. One born of arrogance, bitterness, and a cruel desire to humiliate. The groom, Daniel, had not invited everyone out of love. One invitation carried a venomous purpose. He had sent it to his ex-wife, Emma. The woman who had once sacrificed everything for him, only to be abandoned with nothing. Daniel wanted her to see him at his peak, living what he believed was his true happily ever after. He wanted her to feel small, forgotten, and beneath him. But fate had other plans. What Daniel never imagined was that Emma would walk into that hotel not as a broken, weeping memory of the past, but as a radiant, unshaken woman. And by her side were 3 little girls. His daughters. The very children he had walked away from. Their bright eyes, confident smiles, and undeniable beauty would leave the entire room in hushed awe. If you believe in kindness, redemption, and the way life can turn cruelty into strength, please take a moment to like this video, share it with your loved ones, and subscribe to Kindness Talks. And don't forget to comment. We love hearing your reflections on these moving stories. This story begins with Emma, a woman of gentle spirit and quiet resilience. She was hardworking, humble, and often overlooked in a world that celebrated wealth over character. Against the advice of friends and family, she had given her heart to Daniel when they were young. She invested not just her love, but her time, energy, and even her little savings into building his dreams. Daniel came from privilege, yet he hungered for more. For years, Emma worked late nights and early mornings, waitressing, cleaning houses, and often skipping meals to ensure he had what he needed to succeed. She believed in him more than she ever believed in herself. But when success finally came, so did change. The warmth in their marriage turned cold. Love was replaced with arrogance. Instead of seeing Emma as his partner, Daniel saw her as a reminder of the struggles he wanted to forget. One day, without much warning, he ended their marriage. He left Emma with nothing, just a small apartment, an old, unreliable car, and a heart shattered by betrayal. Not long after, Emma discovered she was pregnant, but it wasn't one child, it was 3 triplets. Fear nearly consumed her. How could she raise 3 babies alone, with no support and no stability? Yet deep inside, something awakened. She realized she might have been abandoned, but she wasn't powerless. She would be a mother, and for her daughters, she would fight harder than ever before. The years that followed were grueling. Emma juggled 2 jobs, sometimes 3. Her nights were filled with the cries of infants, her days with endless work. Many times she wanted to collapse, but every time she looked into her daughter's eyes, she kept going. Love gave her strength where exhaustion threatened to take it away. Meanwhile, Daniel soared into a world of wealth and luxury. He spoke of Emma only with disdain, painting himself as a victim who had been dragged down by a poor woman. When he met Sophia, a young socialite from an affluent family, his pride swelled. To him, this was proof of his upgrade. His wedding to Sophia became a stage upon which he planned to flaunt his success and Emma's supposed failure. He sent her the invitation, convinced she would arrive in worn clothes, looking pitiful, maybe even embarrassed. He thought this was his final act of triumph over her. But Emma had been quietly building a new life. Between long shifts, she pursued her love of design. Her creativity blossomed into opportunity. She eventually opened a small boutique, which slowly grew into a respected business. Her daughters, now 6 years old, were smart, graceful, and full of life. They were her greatest treasure, her living proof that hardship could be transformed into beauty. When the invitation arrived, Emma hesitated. Her first instinct was to throw it away. But then she thought of the years she had endured, of the cruel whispers, of the people who had pitied her. This was no longer about revenge. It was about dignity. She wanted her daughters to see that no one, not even their father, had the right to define their worth. With quiet strength, she made her decision. She would go. The morning of the wedding dawned bright and golden. The hotel was alive with music, chatter, and flashing cameras. Daniel, dressed in a pristine white tuxedo, basked in the attention of his friends. Sophia, radiant in her gown, smiled confidently as she posed for photos. Everything seemed perfect, until the sound of another limousine rolling up to the curb silenced the crowd. Guests turned to look. The chauffeur stepped out, opened the door, and 3 little girls emerged. Dressed in matching yellow dresses, their curls bouncing, they held hands and walked gracefully onto the carpet. Then came Emma. She stepped out in a stunning emerald green gown, her posture poised, her expression calm yet unshakably strong. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Conversations hushed. Daniel's confident smirk vanished, replaced with pale shock. Even Sophia's smile faltered. Emma moved forward, holding her daughter's hands, commanding more presence than the bride herself. Whispers filled the air. People who once believed Daniel's lies now saw the truth. They saw the respect in her daughter's eyes, the elegance in her step, and the quiet strength that radiated from her presence. Emma didn't need diamonds to shine. Her resilience and dignity were jewels enough. The ceremony went on, but the atmosphere had shifted. Guests whispered Emma's name, some offering her discreet nods of admiration. The triplets' laughter melted hearts, and Emma sat with a serenity that outshone the event itself. She did not disrupt. She did not seek revenge. She didn't need to. Her very presence was enough to rewrite the story. By the end of the evening, what people remembered wasn't the flowers, the vows, or even the bride's gown. It was Emma stepping out of that limousine, hand in hand with her 3 daughters, her head held high. Photos captured Daniel's stunned face, the awe of the guests, and Emma's radiant grace. In the days that followed, whispers spread through the town. Daniel's arrogance was unmasked. Emma's boutique thrived even more, not just because of her talent, but because people admired her strength and story. She became a quiet inspiration, living proof that the most powerful revenge is not revenge at all, but living with dignity and grace. Emma was no longer the abandoned wife. She was a mother, a survivor, a builder of her own destiny. Her daughters grew up knowing her strength, not their father's cruelty. And Emma herself found peace. She understood that her past pain shaped her, but it did not define her. What defined her was love, resilience, and the courage to walk through fire and still shine. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Kennis Talks. And before you go, comment below. What would you have done if you were in Emma's place? Because sometimes, your reflections inspire others who may be living the very same battle.